Good. I'll look back on, I was just thinking, good. I'll look back on that qua squat David did. Like, what?
Before I
Maybe you
get
should do
off,
that again, David, because
I
I was
will.
assuming
Before
it
we
was
get off today,
recorded.
I'll do it
I
again.
didn't, I didn't even look for the little red dot. Thank you, Adam.
I I have to admit, the last couple of days have been, today's better, but have been kind of difficult days for me, so I apologize.
Okay.
So you can look at the qua from two perspectives. One, you can talk about how the qua physically moves the inside of your body. And that's the area where the iliopsoas and the adductor muscles join together. This is where the physical movement is going to come from, and that is where you have to start. And just to tell you, in the notes today, I've included a picture of the iliopsoas and the adductor muscles, so you can, if you're not familiar with those, you have a visual. What's also important about the qua is that it is the area that controls two very important things: the transference of energy from the torso to the feet and the feet to the torso. And it is the place which controls the left and right channels inside the body. And the qua is also responsible for taking all the energy of the left and right channels of your body and bringing them into the central channel. So it has two major functions. The muscles there, the iliopsoas and the adductors, are going to literally wrap your spine, somewhat like the way you would wrap a spearhead with a piece of rawhide. So the qua is able to move easily. If the qua is able to move easily, it releases the pressure from the lower spine and the sacrum, or even a little bit higher. And what's happening inside the legs. So it regulates the pressures moving between your spine and your legs. If anyone has a lower back problem, some malfunction of the qua is probably involved. The other issue is that your qua is also directly connected to your feet, to your femur. Right, your feet, sure. No, your femur, please. And the motion of your qua is what is responsible for moving the ball and socket of your hip joint. If the qua is stuck, the ball and socket in your hip will get frozen. And that results in bad backs, bad hips, bad legs, things you don't really want to have. Conversely, if the qua moves smoothly, everything works as it should, and the human body performs within the specifications that it was designed for. What we have is that the qua is going to be slightly opening up your hip socket. The motion of the qua will open the hip socket. The closing motion of the qua will close the hip socket. And this is rather important. Now the qua and the hip socket are not the same thing. The qua is what controls the movement of the thigh, the end of which is a ball, and that ball is what fits into the hip socket. But it is the ball moving that is how the qua actually affects what you do. So in one sense, the qua and the hip socket are a one-piece deal. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. The qua is technically a cavity, and cavities in the body are these places which have nothing solid in them. They have a nexus where many energy channels cross through them. Now everyone is familiar with the big energy channels, start with the left and right and center, and then go to the whole 12 acupuncture meridians. But in truth, you actually have 4,000 to 5,000 functional energy channels in your body, and a lot of them are controlled by the Qua. So getting energy and physical movement to occur together and have the Qua be healthy and strong is important. For example, Bruce mentioned how over the years he has had many people who were planning knee surgery, and all he really had to do was have them get the relationship between the Qua and the knee and the foot straightened out, and usually the reasons for having knee surgery went away. So the Qua is a cavity. It's not simply a joint. But because of this central relationship to all Qigong movements, when your Qua moves, it moves all your joints. The Chinese have a phrase, the big moves the small, and the small changes the big. The big is the Qua. It is actually the place that will cause all the joints of your body to open and close simultaneously. And the individual joints will change the input going into the Qua, which will somewhat determine how it tells you to open and close your joints simultaneously. So the Qua is also incredibly important for getting rid of back pain. And later on in the training, we'll introduce how that can be done within Gods. Now, the Qua squat is something that can help you to recognize if your Qua is actually doing something. I want to make one point here. Bending and stretching your Qua is like bending and stretching any other muscle, like the iliopsoas. Opening and closing the Qua is happening because of the energy gate in the center of the Qua. It's an energy phenomenon. It's not done by stretching. So in the center of every joint of your body, there is an energy gate. But there are also cavities in your body, which are more important than the joints. There is a center in the middle of the cavity that has an energy gate which pulses. And by pulsing, it extends energy out of the cavity to the rest of the body, and it sucks the energy from the rest of the body into the cavity. So the point that is in the center of your Qua cavity is going to expand and contract or pulse. You can make it do this. Forget about bending and stretching for the time being. We worked on that earlier in the program. Now it's about having this cavity trigger even every energetic connection and have them move in coordination with it. When this becomes where this becomes the most important thing is in the joints. The spine is a little bit trickier, and that's all I'm going to say about that for the moment. Now, as you do a Qua squat, your kneecaps are going to stay still, your sacrum is going to go toward the floor and rise up. You are not supposed to have your quadriceps, which is how most people do a squat, move. And your feet remain parallel, as in movement 1. So, we're going to do some work with a chair, which we have done previously. So I presume you all have a chair near you at the moment, in one way or another. If not, grab one. And we're going to stand up. I'm sure you all remember doing this at some point. You're actually going to stand in front of the chair and have your knees actually touch the edge of the chair. And at the moment, not doing that exercise we did earlier, but simply bending, actually going down and then coming up. So keeping the back straight, and you want the knees to keep touching the chair both as you go down and as you come up. And as you come up, you want to make sure they don't push the chair forward. So there is no movement of the knee. So you're simply getting your sacrum to go down and come up, and your knees not leave the chair in any way. And you want all the motion that is making you go up and down happening from your quad and the back of your knees. So you want to make sure you're not using your quadriceps. Now take this a little further. Put your mind inside your quad. Go inside it and see if you can feel some sort of energy center there. And then by shrinking that energy center, let your legs go down. So that now your quad is moving your legs. Bill, let yourself bend forward a little bit more. We're doing a quad squat, not a quad fold. Remember, they are different. And feel the energy opening and that expansion making your legs go up. So you're closing to go down and opening to come up. And you want your knees to neither push on the chair or leave it at any point. And your back has to remain straight as you bend forward. And you want this movement to be coming right from inside your quad. Okay, so pause for a moment. And could you feel that you were moving from the qua?
Yeah, I did. I did some of this work when I was having such trouble with my legs,
Uh-huh.
because it really helped me just even get out of low chairs and the like.
Right.
Just, I couldn't depend on my legs. I couldn't depend on my legs equally, right?
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I just found that, and I still do that. I mean, I still pay attention to that. So that kind of recalled that as doing this exercise.
that's good.
Yeah. For
Bill?
me, and just the last couple of our three ups and downs were when I started getting it. Your comment helped right in the middle.
Yeah, I suddenly realized it was kind of hard to see you. I realized you were not bending very much. So, um, the we were trying to do with the chair the same thing I was demonstrating before, which I will do now, just so we have it, Joanne.
Thank you.
So same thing, and you could do it against a chair. It's not necessary that you do, but you have the sense that you're twisting in and then twisting out and twisting in and twisting out. So your your arms are, you're just gently clasping the hands. They're making a small circle, but the arms are also twisting through all of that. And I think one of the reasons why the hands are clasped there is that it gives the arms somewhat the same sense of being attached at both ends that the leg has. And so you can kind of feel the twisting in both of them in that limited range, because it is subtle. Um, so, Adam, I'm assuming that you were feeling something.
Yeah, I can feel a sense of moving from the quad, opening and closing there. You know,
Okay.
I think
So, I'd like you to stand up again against the chair, but now we're going to do a qua fold, which is as much as you can simply dropping straight down and going straight up. And it will be a much smaller movement, probably, than you could do with a qua squat. You want to make sure that your sacrum is slightly tucked so it's pointing straight down. You want to have the feeling that your sacrum is actually sinking down into your feet. And before you start moving, simply see if you can feel your qua opening and closing. Begin to be aware of that movement within the qua. And then begin to let that movement, the opening and closing, make your pelvis go down and up in the qua fold. So when you're closing, you're feeling something going down through your legs to your feet. And then open your qua to raise yourself up. remember that movement, that opening and closing, is a spherical sense within your kwa. So close, getting everything to go down to your feet. Then as you come up, pushing up from your feet and opening your kwa. So you're coming up from your feet. The quad joint is going up and down, very nice and smooth, and you should have no sense of using the muscles of your thigh. When you fold, you want to have a feeling from the crown of your head through the middle of your body, and have that arrive at your kwa. And then as you continue closing your kwa and going down, you're actually making all the energy from the crown of your head go down to your feet. And then when you open your kwa, bring it up from your feet, through your kwa, and up to the crown of your head. This is a vertical motion of energy in the body. Keep your back relatively straight, and if you have to lean forward, do so, but keep it to a minimum. Now, as well as putting your attention on your kwa, begin to feel your perineum. And as you close, you want to have the sense of energy going down from your kwa and down from your perineum to your feet. And when you're coming up, going up to your kwa and your perineum, and up to the crown of your head. So now we're essentially integrating everything in a vertical up and down movement. And that's going to change if you bend forward or not, because the nature of when your head and your feet, where your head and your feet are, is going to remain constant. It's very hard to change that unless you put your legs behind your head. So relax this fold, step away from your chair, and start doing movement 2, which is back to the kwa squat, but endeavor to keep all of the elements we just talked about in the fold, because they should also be present in this squat. So as you come up, your kwa and perineum are opening. And they're still opening as you reach the crown of your head, and keep opening until your energy has extended to your etheric body. as you go down, you're closing, bringing your energy from the crown of your head down through your qua, down to the bottom of your feet, and keep opening up until your energy is extended to your etheric body below your feet. Now you're bringing your energy up the inside of your legs to your perineum, through your qua, which is powering this, through the center of your body to the crown of your head. What your qua is doing is regulating the energy in the left and right channels, which also is going to be in your arms and legs. Although, if the truth be told, the qua is more about everything up to your diaphragm, and the slight opening and closing of your armpits is everything from your diaphragm to the crown of your head and your fingertips. Now the next thing is, you want to make sure that you do not bend down more than is comfortable for you, or more than you can continue to feel as though your hips and your perineum and your qua are connected to your feet. You're not only connected to your feet, but also connected to the top of your head. Try to make sure that all of these points stay together and eventually extend through your fingertips. Okay, you can pause and relax. So could you get the qua to move all of that movement, all of that energy?
I think
you're-
some. Some. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I think the comment of connecting with the diaphragm, because when we first started doing the movement, I didn't really kick up my breathing coordination, and then I remembered to do that. And then when you connected it with a diaphragm, that felt like a really good connection to the qua, as opposed to having it, as I was kind of isolating my thought focus on the qua maybe too narrowly, but having it integrated with the diaphragm in particular, and that was a good moment.
Yeah, good.
I think for the most part, I could feel the energy. It doesn't feel like the energy is moving the body as much as it all being coordinated together. And it, especially in the legs, takes a lot of focus on continually relaxing the muscles.
Mhm.
They at any point, if I relax the focus, the muscles jump in there. It's like they just get recruited into the movement. So it takes a lot of attention to keep them relaxed and keep, every movement say like, okay, let's stay relaxed as much as we can. But it does feel like there's a strong energetic connection despite needing that attention there.
And and I think that's another thing that particularly for us in the West, it takes quite a while to learn to let go of that. That
Mm.
we should use our muscles.
Yeah.
It's just built in.
Yep.
It's part of we have to succeed.
Mm.
And
Right.
it just takes time until we get to the point where we can let go of that, and then the movement of the energy becomes much easier.
Yep. Yeah, I had that same experience that Adam did, and kind of going in and out of it and going, oh, right, yeah, I lost my focus and now I'm feeling my thighs, Yeah.
It's really hard to remain present, constantly present. Our minds, the rate at which thoughts pass through our minds is beyond any awareness we have of it, any conscious awareness we have of it. And so there's a constant flow there that if we get caught in it, it draws us right away.
Yeah, it's helpful as you talk to us,
Yep.
because that focuses, right? That's the focus. The focus is on kind of, yeah, and here we are, and then we're right. So that reminder, that kind of, guided meditation style kind of, it's like, oh, well, I can focus, right?
Yep.
I'm not off somewhere else because of that. So, which is helpful to remember that at times during practice, to just replay the video in order to kind of get back into that. Yeah. But then, then needing to have that discipline of doing it yourself.
Right. Eventually
Doing it on your own.
Yeah. So of course you want to bring this into all of the movements in Gods. I was going to just to finish out our time here, I wanted to just talk for a minute about the energy flows in the body, because there are multiple energy flows, as we've talked, and they're all happening simultaneously in different directions. And so I know you're familiar with the macrocosmic circuit, starting at the Wei Qi level and moving deeper with practice. Primarily vertical flows between earth to heaven and back. And this is the one, of course, where we think primarily of the energy coming up the inside of the leg to the qua, through the qua, and up the back of the torso, and down the front of the torso to the qua, and then down around the hip to the outside of the leg and down to the earth. The second one, which is really important in the fire tradition in Taoism, is the microcosmic circuit. And that's the circuit that flows around the middle of the body, basically following the two primary acupuncture channels around the middle of the body. And that emphasizes the flow around the center of the torso, perineum to crown of the head to the perineum, but also goes to earth and heaven, and again starts at the Wei Qi level and moves deeper with practice. And there are 4 different ways of doing this circuit. It's not primary in the water tradition practice, but it is part of it. The third flow is center to periphery, which is one we often talk about in our work. The flow from Dantian to toes, fingertips, and crown of head and back. One way is Dantian to qua to feet and back, and perineum to spine, to fingertips and the crown of the head and back. The fourth, which we work with in movements 5 and 6, the left and right channels. And they have both up and down flows connecting to earth and heaven. Then there are the many levels of awareness you get. The energy to flow through the Wei Qi and finally to each channel itself. The fifth one is the central channel, which has both up and down flows, connecting to earth and heaven also. And many levels of awareness as you get the energy to first flow through Wei Qi and finally into the channel itself. And then the central and left and right circuit. It flows in both directions, and it also develops from Wei Qi to within the channels themselves. But when we think about these in relation to the movements in Gods, in movement 1, this is basically vertical flow, getting the energy moving smoothly throughout the body. Movement 2, the energy is flowing from earth to heaven and back down along the left and right channels. In movement 3, the focus on connecting the energy is to the internal organs. And remember, the armpit can have a direct connection to the organs. And that's why the armpits must remain open in this movement. And this movement also opens up the left and right channels. In movement 4, the focus again is opening up the left and right channels and making sure that the flow is smooth and strong. In movement 5, establishing the left and right and central channel circuit in one direction while maintaining the flow to heaven and earth. And in 6, establishing the left and right and central channel circuit in the other direction while maintaining the flow to heaven and earth. And movement 7, which we haven't done yet, is focused on spiraling. So I'll send all that to you. Might be helpful to have. So any further questions or thoughts at the moment? Okay. Well,
No, it's a good class, good class.
I hope
Good.
Mr. Nagel is okay.
So,
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Look forward
Thanks.
to
Thank you.
thank you.
seeing you next week. We'll do a little more.
Good.
Sounds good.
Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Indeed.
Take care.
Bye, Bill. I need to hop off and take care of some stuff. There's a couple interruptions there, so
I can
I'll
tell.
read the notes from what I missed there.
Okay. And
Yeah.
think about using your qua in the form.
What's that?
Think about using the qua in
Yeah.
your form.
Ah, okay. Yep. I will.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Take
All
care.
right.
You guys.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, this is interruption morning somehow, not just right now, but about 15 minutes ago, my cell phone didn't stop buzzing with text messages. At some point, I just got on and said, I'm in class. You know, these like group texts, so there's multiple group texts. It's all, I think, the same problem, but I wasn't gonna read it in class. So I was like, I don't know what the deal is, but I'll deal with it. Yeah.
So you've got problems going on?
I don't think it's problems. I mean, this is a busy time. And I should say, I will be here next week, but the week after is the week that I go to the forest and I have no service at all. So
Okay.
I can't do it at all. Yeah, I was there. We went to visit friends who are there at the cabin. It's their cabin on Sunday and stayed over till Monday. And it was amazing. I had absolutely no service. I didn't get the text messages till I got out of the forest. So
Isn't
I think
that
they're building a
wonderful?
cell tower near there, but it's in Miles Standish State Forest in Massachusetts.
Ah,
And so you just really, you're like, we're on the pond. There's no cell towers near, sometimes if you're in certain places, depending on what carrier you have, you can find a hotspot that allows you, but I didn't try a whole lot because it was a Sunday going into Monday morning, but anyway, yeah, it's not like I could do this on my, even connect with Zoom on my phone. So
yeah.
I will, but it also gives me an opportunity to do a lot more practice. Because I'm on vacation, and so I get up in the morning and go down by the dock, and it's a small pond, so it's very, very quiet early in the morning. So
That's great.
go before the camp opens at the public beach across the pond. At 9 o'clock, the buses come in, and it's like, yay. Anyway.
But I think Joanne, it's probably very good for you not to have the cell phone for a
I
while.
think it's very good for me. And I have to say, the last 2 years, I left the forest too many times from meetings. And last year was kind of an emergency because if you recall, my friend Linda Dot passed away a couple of years ago from a heart attack. And we had a large memorial celebration of her life last year, August 20th. And so going away the first week of August was very difficult. I mean, it's the only week we can go. It's the only week we can share the cottage. But it meant leaving and going to meetings twice during the week. And then on Monday, my daughter said, well, stay with us for another day. And we tried to leave early, and we couldn't get the cat to come out under the porch. So then I had to go back to the library and do a third meeting. So 3 meetings.
Oh,
An 8-day vacation was horrible. So I have said to everybody, no, I'm not doing anything
Good.
that week because I need that time down. And while going to Greece was wonderful, it was a holiday, not like a vacation, right? They're kind of, it was like a very engaged time with family, which was wonderful. No complaints.
yeah.
And I did do Tai Chi several times when I said to them, go to the beach, I'm staying here. And, doing Tai Chi on the porch. Yeah, I just need that kind of, you need that. And I think I've always thought this for years, even before I started Tai Chi, is that kind of, the in life, sometimes the yin and the yang are far too large. It's like, oh, you're really, 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 really busy. You're really young, and then you get a little bit of the yin in here, right? And so it's attempting always to try to readjust that and recommit when you can really step back from that. And so I do need that full step back, and then to kind of go, okay, yeah, you can make a commitment to do this more on a daily basis, not an annual basis.
Yeah.
It's all very easy to articulate, not always very easy to do.
Absolutely.
I think that's it. But I do feel like here, like in today's, class as well, there's new things or new way to think about them, but it's all kind of built on foundations that
Yep.
you have well taught us. So I feel, and like I said, I did do a lot of work around the quad particularly when my right leg was just kind of not functioning as I needed it to be, and my knees were not doing well and the like. And it's really helped. I mean, I think of that just even when I'm in a low chair and I have to get up, and it's like I don't have to use all of my physical strength to do this.
Good.
So, and then just bringing it back into the practice. So,
Right.
um,
Think about your quad in your form if you get any.
think about the quad and the form, and right, yes. And I am looking forward to seeing, and I know Adam's kind of at a busy spot, but hopefully after I come back and after things kind of calm down for him being able to, the two of us being able to come to class, we could do a hybrid gods and then actually have a real class
Yeah.
on the board. That would be great, but I know we both have to, yeah, it's our schedule. Yeah, I think we're both in a kind of high,
Well,
busy time, but
he's still getting his new assistant
until,
settled and comfortable and.
right, yeah, I understand. All right,
Have a good week.
you too, David, you too. All right,
Hope things go smoothly.
thank you. They're always a bit bumps. No crises. I think it's just gotta get something done.
No,
I'll go deal with them. Okay, thank you.
I'm all for that.
Right, okay.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.